What is happening, YouTube and Facebook and BiggerPockets? It is Matt Faircloth, and I'm streaming live to you folks now. And I'm so excited for this that I'm going to be talking to all these different channels, all these different people talking to me about apartment buildings. So if you're watching on Facebook, do me a favor, give me a like. If you're watching on YouTube, do me a favor and give me a like also. You can like it on either one of those channels, but give it a thumbs up, because what that does is it tells those mediums, Facebook, YouTube, whatever, that you like something, and that takes it and broadcasts it, and Facebook says, hey, that guy, John Smith, right there, he likes this, and that we're going to propagate it and show it to more people because maybe they'll like it too, right? So that's what I want you guys to do. Take a minute to like this video right now, because we're going to talk about some really cool stuff, and I need it to get propagated throughout Facebook and YouTube, so all the folks that are watching or that are looking for something cool to watch, see this video here on BiggerPockets to talk about apartment buildings. We're going to talk about some really neat stuff today. We're going to talk about 3 things you must do before you start looking for apartment buildings. You have to. If you don't do these 3 things before you start looking for apartment building deals, you may find a deal, but I would be willing to bet you 10 cents you're not going to close the deal. So pay close attention. We're going to talk about these 3 things. What I want to do before I get into that is I want to give a few shout outs to anybody that wants to shout out where you're from. Okay, I'm going to give a few geography shout outs real quick. So leave a comment in the comment box where you're from right now. Okay. This could be on YouTube, this could be on Facebook, wherever it is. So give me like a Julie says good stuff. Hey Julie, Pittsburgh, go Hokies burrito. Man, 2-0 burrito. Go Hokies, baby. What's good? Hello everyone. Hello Terrell. Greetings from Pittsburgh, the go-getter. Pittsburgh's looking good this year, huh? Cool. Let's see what we got. That's all on YouTube. Let's see what my buddies on Facebook have to say. Frederick, Maryland, Utah, Austin, Texas. Maryland's my home state, by the way, from Baltimore. Go Ravens. Even though I didn't grow up with the Ravens, but they're a great team. My family loves them, so I love them. Cool. Los Angeles, Somerset, Kentucky, Carthy. My fingers are crossed, Kathy, on a deal that we bid, or Carrie, geez. In Kentucky. I hope we get it, because that means I get to come and be your neighbor. Not that I'm going to live there, but we hope to do it. Illinois, awesome. Chicago, Boise, New York, Orlando, Florida. Okay, so for those of you guys on, what? Are you kidding me? I just saw something I have to share. This is incredible. I just saw greetings from Ethiopia, Birmingham, Alabama. That's awesome. That's interesting too. Somebody just said they were from Ethiopia on YouTube, and that is awesome. I love getting international folks watching. I can't find it again. Geez, where did you go, Ethiopian person? I love that you're watching from Ethiopia. That's so cool. Windows not giving me any more of it. Okay, well, if you're Denmark, there you go. Man, international. Ethiopia and Denmark watching today in the house. If that person from Ethiopia is watching, please leave a little bit more of a comment so I can hear more about where you're from and what you're doing and how the world is over there in Ethiopia. Cool. So here's the deal, guys. We're gonna jump in. I'm gonna give you guys number 1 thing that you need to do before you start looking for apartment buildings. And we're going to talk more, okay? We're going to talk more where y'all are from, and I'll even do a little Q&A, okay? So I'm going to do one of these tips. We'll talk for a little bit, and then we're going to do we'll do a little conversation, and we'll do a couple more tips, and then I'll do a quick Q&A, okay? Sound good? Sound good. Okay, cool. So the first thing that you got to have in place, that you got to do before you start looking for an apartment building, and some of you guys are going to think this is obvious, and some of you guys are going to think, I guess I have to do that. And some of you are going to think, Matt, I really don't want to do that because I want to look everywhere. The first thing is you have to define your market, okay? What market are you going to look in? Where are you going to look for this apartment building that you want, okay? I was at a networking event, and somebody said something to the tune of, I'm looking anywhere in the continental United States for an apartment building. I talked to another guy that told me he was shopping 35 markets when I talked to him. I can tell you that as much as it might give you a lot to look at, there's too much data to analyze if you're looking at too many markets. So what you want to do is get micro in your market. zone in, zoom in. If you're from Philadelphia or you're from Birmingham, Alabama, then make it Birmingham, Alabama for now, and you can slowly expand out of there and find some other markets in the Alabama area that maybe work as well. But get micro in your market and find the market and make it a certain geography and get to know the demographic and the deals and the brokers and the people that like the brokers as in the real estate brokers and the folks that are trading real estate in that area. Get to know them, every single one of them. Take every single one of them out to coffee, every one of them out to lunch, and really dive deep into the market that you want to be in. Once you've got a market really analyzed and you feel like you're standing at the center of that market for apartment buildings, you can expand out of it. We do not play in just one market, but I play in multiple markets because I've gotten familiar with one. I've done my research there. I've built my network there. I've gotten very in tune with the demographics, who the employers are. I haven't talked about that, but who the big employers are. Demographics, right? And who the players are. When I say who the players are, I said the commercial brokers, but also who the property owners are. Who's the biggest property owner in the market you want to be in? If you want to buy apartment buildings, who owns the most apartment buildings in Birmingham, Alabama? To my friend from Birmingham, find out. See if they'll meet with you. And most of these people that have lots and lots of deals, they're probably actually fairly generous, and they'd be willing to sit down with you and actually talk to you. Okay, so that is number one. I'll jump on. I'll do a few quick questions, a few quick shout outs to a few more of you folks that are watching. Julio thinks that's funny. Hotlanta, Fayetteville, Arkansas. We got a building in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Different Fayetteville, very different Fayetteville. But let's see, what do we got here on YouTube? There we go. There we go. Man, lots of folks watching. Cool. Ethiopia is booming. A lot of apartments going. Want to learn from the best. Youssef, you make me blush. Thank you. Miami, Florida. I'd love to. Man, Youssef, wait, tell us more about why Ethiopia is booming. Maybe you can get some investment going on over there. Sacramento, Jersey, East Orange. There you go, Terrell. Cool. Cool. Baltimore in the house. What's up, Daniel? From Baltimore. We are global. Newport Beach. Cool. Man, you guys are all over the place, and I'm loving it. Cool. Those of you guys that are watching on Facebook, it warms my heart when I get lots of hearts. So please do me a favor on Facebook and give me some hearts. I want to see hearts across the screen. Unfortunately, YouTube does not let you guys heart this thing. But for those of you on Facebook, I want to see hearts come across because that means you guys love what we're talking about. And you guys are going to love the next thing that we're going to talk about because the next thing that we're going to talk about is money, right? We're going to talk about money because finding money is the next thing that you got to do before you start looking for an apartment building deal. The way that apartment buildings work these days is it's not a world of let me find a deal and then let me go out and find people that want to buy it and or that are going to invest with me and let me then go think about finding a lender and stuff like that. You need to have this lined up when you find a deal because apartment buildings are so competitive right now. It doesn't mean that like somebody typed in a bunch of hearts. I appreciate that. Thank you. Fit to. Thank you. Appreciate you. So apartment buildings are a space that you need to be like game on. You're probably going to have maybe 30 days to do your due diligence, which I'll show during an apartment building purchase is when you're going to do your funding. Okay. That's when you're going to go find your money and get your investors in and talk to your lenders and stuff like that. But 30 days is not enough time for the first conversation. Okay. When I say the first conversation, I'm really talking about mostly with investors, but this is true for banks as well. The first conversation is the get to know each other conversation. And for a private investor that wants to put their money in with you, it's something that might be, oh, hey, I'm Joe Smith. I'm a potential investor. I'm a cash provider. I talk about in my book. And then you say, hi, I'm so-and-so, and I'm a deal provider. You get to know each other's goals, get to know what you're looking to do, just establish trust. If you have first conversation with a cash provider, and you say, hey, I got this apartment building deal, it's phenomenal, and it needs to close in 15 days, you got to wire me your money. You kind of sound like a snake oil salesman. So you don't want to have that conversation. You want to have the conversation with your money your investors, your equity people, right? Way outside of that 30-day window. You want to line them up and say, Joe Smith, I am shopping for apartment buildings and I'm shopping here. This is where I'm going. This is where I'm going to buy an apartment building. I will make it happen in the next 6 months. I will do a deal. Be ready. Put your seatbelt on, Joe, because here we go. Right? And Joe Smith says, okay, great. Steve or Sally, I like what you're talking about. Let's establish a pre-existing relationship and have some conversations about where I want to go, where you want to go. And you get to know Joe Smith a little bit. And Joe Smith says, you know what? I like what you're saying. Next time you find an apartment building deal, I happen to have $200,000 sitting in my IRA account. I would be willing to put that $200,000 into an apartment building deal with you if you find a deal. Okay, great. Put that $200,000 on the side. Have those conversations. Line up that money. Okay, line up the folks that are willing to step in and put their hard-earned money out of their retirement accounts or out of their own pockets or whatever it may be into a deal you don't have yet. They're not going to put it in your pocket. They're gonna just have it sidelined and prepared to send it to the deal. The other conversation you need to have is with a bank. Okay. Now the banks that lend on apartment building deals are not the same banks that lend on single family home deals. So you need to locate banks that work on apartment buildings. You need to locate those banks, have the conversations, let them know what you're looking to do. If you want to be really ahead of the game, send them some your tax returns, some financial statements for yourself and everything like that. Okay. Send those things over to them so that you can engage in a conversation and they can start to process your financing, and they can also tell you what kind of financing they can offer. You'll find that banks actually offer really interesting financing on stabilized apartment buildings or apartment buildings that need a lot of work. It's an interesting space what they're willing to give. So consider that. Consider talking to banks, and they'll give you what their terms are, so you can shop your market based on what these banks' terms are, and have some investors lined up. So lots of questions popping in. I'll ask a few. This is quick as my PNI webinar for everywhere. Hamilton Trenton here. Watch this in full later. What's up, work? I'm around the corner from you in Trenton. Pittsburgh is great for apartment marketing. I'm a licensed agent. Cool. Do your fundamentals. This can I most Danny Orlando, Mickey's in the house. Cool. Nice. Mickey's in the house. Here comes Mickey. What's up, Tampa, Connecticut, Nashville, Atlanta, Newport Beach, Detroit? What are things like in Detroit, Ice? I want to know. Cool. What do we got here and on Facebook? Let me see how Facebook's doing. YouTube today is kicking Facebook's butt. I got 26 likes on Facebook. No, on YouTube. Let's see, how many more comments? Yeah, I only have 5 comments on Facebook, and I'm sorry, 5 likes on Facebook and 22 likes on YouTube. Facebook, what are you doing? Those of you that are watching on Facebook, give me a like, because YouTube is just, they're slaughtering you. YouTube, you guys are awesome. Give me some more likes so Facebook doesn't catch up with you, okay? Just so you guys know. And guys, they're catching up. I'm just letting you know that Facebook just heard my call to action, and there is now like thumbs up coming across the board over there. So if you're watching on YouTube and you haven't submitted a like yet, you don't want to get embarrassed here. Catch up, okay? All right, here we're gonna do number 3, and then I'll do some Q&A. Okay. This is the most important thing that you guys need to have in place, which is a team. Okay. No one operates in real estate by themselves. No one. You have to have a team in this business. And just partly because it's just too big of an operation to run a real estate company with just one person, right? Just there's too much going on. But more importantly, buying apartment buildings, it takes a lot of different skill sets. It takes a lot of different trades. It takes a lot of different contacts, a lot of different resources, a lot of different backgrounds to be able to take down an apartment building. Okay, so you probably won't even get a real look at a deal unless you have a team. You could decide to go shotgun approach and say, I'm going to look in 50 different markets in the U.S. and get stupid and put a bunch of offers out there and put a property under contract. But you're not going to get very far because you don't have your money lined up, right? So you could get lucky here. you could get lucky here. You will fall on your face here. Okay, and you might not even get a look on this one. Some general folks that need to be on your real estate team, guys, are your broker. That's your real estate broker, your money broker too, the guys that finds you the money. The real estate broker comes from here. The real estate broker is somebody you contact, and you contact a few of them. They all understand it's an open marketplace. You're not going to sign buyer's representation agreements, so you can work with a few different brokers. But once you define the market you want to be in, you're going to go and find a couple of key brokers and get on their mailing list and meet with them regularly, talk to them on the phone regularly about what deals they have in their pipeline, right? So that person needs to be on your team because they will go to bat for you for projects that you may be bidding on, okay? Your broker for money comes from here, okay? This is someone who can find you the best deal on money for your on a bank loan for your deal, okay? They can find you the best loan terms. They can advise you if interest rates are going to go up or if loan terms are going to change. But the team goes way beyond this. Okay, say you need to have a good lawyer because a lawyer is going to assemble your SEC stuff. They're going to assemble your partnership. They're going to assemble your. You need two lawyers. For me, I typically bring in two lawyers for my apartment building purchases. I'll bring in a lawyer. I use the same guy every time that does my SEC assemblage. That puts in the legal for forming the entity. They form the company. They form all the different. The operating agreement. They file us with the SEC. They form the subscription agreement, the PPM. That's that lawyer. Then I got another lawyer that's local in the state that I'm buying the building. So I'm bidding a property in Kentucky. I'll have a Kentucky-based attorney. I bought a property in North Carolina. I had a North Carolina-based attorney represent me directly in the state on the purchase and the deal. It is very important to have that because they know state law. They also can represent you. They can go and handle the recording of the deed for you. And God forbid, if you have some evictions once you own the property, you got a local attorney you can reach out to as well. Okay, so you need two different lawyers, one for partnership, one that's local. Okay, a few other team members that you have to have in place when you're buying an apartment building is you got to have a good CPA, a good accountant, and this could be the same accountant that does you for your single family home stuff, but you want to make sure they understand the way that apartment buildings operate from a tax perspective because your money, your equity investors are going to want to talk about the tax breaks that they get through owning this apartment building. So you want to make sure your CPA can explain it properly to you or even be willing to talk to these investors directly for you, okay? And then the CPA may even have folks they can refer to you that would be maybe interested in investing in your deal. Consider that. CPAs can be a great referral source for investors, okay? The other big team member that not enough people talk about, and if you want to invest in your own backyard, and I think you all should start investing in your own backyard, fine, but if you want to invest more regionally, you need to find yourself a pair of boots. Okay, here's what boots means, okay? I think that the boots is somebody who's local to the deal. Most buildings that I own, I've got a partner in the deal or an investor or someone who's a key asset piece that lives within 15 minutes of the building. I don't live within 15 minutes of all of our properties, but I got somebody on the team that does. They can run over there. Like we had a fire at one of our apartment buildings. I had one of my team members there within a half an hour. Okay. So local boots is very important once you're under agreement, but they're just good to get to know the market. They can help you understand this if you find a market more regionally that you want to get yourself into. So it could be like sometimes they're relatives, sometimes they're people you meet on BiggerPockets and want to be involved in the apartment building purchase deal, but don't have their own money, don't have their own resources, or don't have time or the wherewithal or whatever. They just want to be a part of a bigger team, so they're willing to step in and they understand a market, they know it, and they're willing to be the boots for you for your apartment building purchase. So a great set of boots that's willing to take action and be your local legs for you is huge for your team member. Okay, a few other people that can be on your team is someone to help you raise money. You gotta watch that. You gotta watch how you structure it in your partnership agreements because you can't just compensate people for raising money by giving them ownership of your company. They have to have a bigger role than just raising money. But you can have people as a part of your team who part of what they do is help you raise money, right? you've got to have maybe a good underwriter. Maybe that's you. Maybe you're somebody who knows the numbers really well, but you got to have somebody who's able to crunch the numbers on your deal. That is an awful UW. I'm not proud of it, and I'm going to change it up. Underwriter. That's what that stands for. Okay. So the underwriter is somebody who crunches the numbers. They run the evaluations on your finances and stuff like that. And once the building's under ownership, the underwriter is somebody who works with a local property manager that holds the property to the budget. They develop the budget. They say, okay, this is what we need to make the property make money and meet our goals. This is what the budget looks like. And the property manager is there to manage the property, but the underwriter holds them accountable to the budget. Okay. And the last thing that I just mentioned, any apartment building, I don't know many people that self-manage apartment buildings unless it's something right around the corner from where they live. But more and more, more of today's real estate investors are relying on a property manager to run the asset for them. Because property managers have bigger resources, they've got a bigger team. They know that they have everything in place on running large assets. So I consider property managers to be worth their weight in gold. If you don't have a property manager lined up, when you start looking in a market for a deal, you could very quickly get underwater because you're going to have to just settle for somebody. It's way better to find the market you want to be in, write down who the top property managers are, interview them, sit down, get your pick on who you want to go with. And property managers can actually be good referrals for deals. To say, hey, this owner over here is getting tired. He wants to get out of the business. He may be willing to sell. The property manager could refer you, right? So those are just a few team members that we have here, okay, that can be a part of your deal. Going back to the money thing, the biggest thing that you need to do is to get great at raising money and understand the biggest fact is that everybody knows people with money, which is why I wrote this book, Raising Private Capital, that I'll put here so you guys can see really close. I wrote this book for BiggerPockets. It's something that I worked really hard on, and I put everything that I know about raising money in this book. So you guys should absolutely check this out by going to biggerpockets.com/private money book. And in this book, you will learn everything that I know about raising money. And if you go to BiggerPockets, there's a lot of cool things cool free giveaways. You can get the book too by going to my website, DeRosaGroup.com, that just clicks over and links to BiggerPockets. Or you just get it on BiggerPockets by going to biggerpockets.com/private money book, and you get a bunch of free giveaways when you buy the book. One of which, one of the best giveaways with the book is a 90-minute interview with this guy, my partnership attorney, and he talks all about SEC regulations. He talks all about the how to keep the SEC out of your hair and how to set up apartment building deals by using through legal motions with the SEC. Okay, you also get a workbook that takes you through raising money. You get another book that I wrote about buying apartment buildings. I wrote a second book, ebook on things you got to do before you buy an apartment building deal. All for however much BiggerPockets is selling it for, but it is a phenomenal book. I'm very proud of it, and it's something that I think you guys would really enjoy. So check it out. Raising Private Capital. It's my book. If you already have it, by the way, if you've already read this book, I need a favor. Go out to Amazon and leave me a review, because Amazon rules the universe of book sales as well. Buy the book on BiggerPockets, but go to Amazon and leave it a review, please. I need more reviews from folks that have read it and that are fans of it or think that it's of value. Please do go to Amazon and leave me a review. I'm going to answer a few more questions, and we'll do a little Q&A session real quick with you guys to see what you guys want to chat about. Let me jump in my office chair here. And we'll talk some shop real quick, okay? There we go. Okay, questions. Ask some questions. Let me hear your questions. Boots could be a property manager. Mine is easiest to get a hold of. Boots sounds like someone on property with you, not an employee necessarily. True, Jennifer. Okay, so here's the thing. Let me figure how I want to put this. Okay, there is a property manager, and their mentality for what they look for, what their goals are, and what their thought patterns are, and what they want to see for the property. And then there's the owner. Okay, they can be similar goals and similar folks and similar people, but the property manager, and the owner are two different people, Jennifer, unless you can convince that property manager to throw a few dollars into the deal with you and invest in the property. I've only been able to make it happen once, but I think it's something that you guys should try more often, is asking your property manager to invest in the deal with you. They may be willing to do it. I think that they could be willing to do it if you position it the right way. So consider trying that out, Jennifer. But good question. So, but I don't. I would say that they're actually not the same people. They're similar. It's similar goals, but they're not exact. So, cool. But thank you. Good question, Jennifer. Uh, cool. Let me see. How do I get to the? I gotta get more questions here. How are we doing on likes? Facebook's catching up on likes, but oh geez, YouTube is killing you guys. YouTube has 45 likes right now. Um, Man, YouTube is the place to be these days. Um, Big things are coming. You're right, man. Ethiopia is booming. Cool. Tampa, try to learn the rope. Cleveland, Ohio. I love it. More questions. Keep popping your questions out here, guys. I'll answer them for you. I'd go to the publisher of the book, Julie. Yep, go to BiggerPockets.com to check it out. And I'm even wearing their shirt. I mean, come on. Is that okay to start investing in holiday? Is it okay to start that? Is it okay to start investing with holiday houses? Dimitri, I think you mean vacation rentals, and that's okay. I think it's great. I don't know much about vacation rentals, but I think there's a lot on BP about it. I hear a lot of people chat about vacation rentals, so it can't be anything wrong with it. Check it out. I mean, I think a lot of people do really well with it. It's not what I do. Cool. Shout out Oscar from Portugal. What's up, man? Cool. More questions. Do you ever let the seller bank EOS at the terms of the contract, almost like requirement? I think that if you're buying from a bank, CS, at the end of the day, the bank is going to call the shots. If you're buying from a bank, it's kind of like, do you want it? Buy it for our terms, or don't buy it and we'll find somebody else. So in buying an apartment building, I don't find that they yeah, I'm sorry. I'm making sure you were talking about the bank setting the terms for the loan. Because it's interesting. Banks are actually a little more negotiable than you would think, and when they want to loan you money, you can negotiate there. But if you're buying a property from a bank, every bank I've ever dealt with has either been take it or leave it. The one thing that you're gonna it's just gonna be a conversation of whether or not you want to buy the property for their terms or not. What do you look for when you shop for apartment buildings? You know what, Youssef? I shop for it's such a thrown around term these days, but value add. Let's see if I can prop this up so you guys can see it. There you go. I shop for value add deals, meaning like I shop for properties where they need some work, where I can raise rents. You know what I shop for, Youssef? This is good. And this kind of trails to value add too. I shop for properties where the owner is older or is getting out of the business of owning rental property. And I think that what that you will see is they've started to age out of the business, and the wheels have slowly started to come off on their capacity to hold up with the property. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that in that you will see things that they missed, that they didn't see, that they didn't deal with, or they just weren't able to keep up with. And so those create opportunities for you to immediately jump in and capitalize on it. That could be utility issues that you could jump in and make a bunch of money with. That could be rent issues, or rents being a little lower, or properties not kept up, or whatever, anything like that. I find that older owners that are just kind of aging out and getting tired of it are great folks to buy properties from. But in general, properties just need a lot of work that are rented for here, and that you could end up bumping rents through renovations. That's what we look for. We don't want to just get behind the wheel and drive. We want to kind of leave a fingerprint and a stamp on the place. So. Cool. Flood of sins. Once Hurricane Horn splits and wipes out tons of houses, you'll be able to buy rock bottom places. Yeah, I'm going to start shopping at the North Carolina, South Carolina coastline in about a week, give or take. No, it's funny. My wife was actually supposed to go on a little girlfriend vacation in South Carolina. Not anymore. The building we own in North Carolina is a little bit inland, so I think that we'll be okay. But yeah, man, changes are coming down the pipe that way, huh? Um, how useful is a certified legal assistant who knows real estate? Um, how useful then is a certified legal assistant? I wouldn't go for a certified legal assistant. I'd go for a straight up attorney. I just not the online legal companies like prepaid legal or whatever. I wouldn't go with them. I'd go for a straight up attorney that's in the state, right around the property, maybe in the town the property's in, and also that it is involved in real estate because they have some contacts, some connections, they can help you. Um, so what would you? Oh, let's see, Tommy, what would you recommend for a newbie apartment buyer in terms of units? Huh. Okay, Tommy, if you're gonna buy it with all of your own money, I would buy pretty much as as big as you're willing to go with your own capital. Okay. If you're looking to raise money, and check out my book, Raising Private Capital, to do that. But if you're looking to raise money for your deal, then I probably would go on the smaller side, but you could stretch a little bit. Like our first private money apartment building deal that was of real scale was about 18 units, and then we went up from there. So you could go into the teens and the 20s pretty easily with your own capital, with some investor capital in there. I mean, much smaller than that, it's not going to be worth it for you. Um, so. What is the biggest mistake man, I've made some mistakes, Christina. Geez. The biggest mistake I've learned from in general in business is this today. This is a mistake of the day. I've made too many to list on all the mistakes that I could learn from, but the mistake that I'm learning from that's really showing in my life right now, Christina, is just agreeing to not do things that I'm not good at. And so if, Christina, you are not good at the financials for your business or good at the numbers, then don't do that. Make an agreement with yourself. I'm not going to do those things anymore. I'm going to do just what I'm great at. And so I think that too often in my business, and I see too many other real estate investors try and do everything, or try and push through and do things they're not great at. They don't want to build that team, like I wrote up on the whiteboard. And so I highly recommend you build a team and find people that are great at that thing that they do, and build a team based around people's greatnesses. Because the biggest mistakes I've made have been around doing things that I'm not good at, and I always end up missing something. So that's just the mistake of the day, Christina. Ask me tomorrow, I'll probably have a different mistake that I could list. Um, so how do you handle inherited tenants that are in the way of renovations? CS. It depends on the state. Some states require, like New Jersey, that you let them stay for as long as they want to stay, paying the rents that they're paying, and then when they finally move out, then you can renovate the unit. In North Carolina, where we are down there, we're telling the tenants, hey, great, we're renovating these units. You can, when your lease comes up, you can move out of the complex, or you can move into a renovated unit at the new rents. Your choice. Pick which one you want to do. And so in other states, you can't do that. You've got to give them the right to stay in the unit that they're in. But we're renovating the full complex. We're raising the game everywhere. We're spending lots of money on the complex. So we want to be compensated for some of the expenses that we're kicking out to bring the complex up, and dropping in playgrounds and painting the exteriors and stuff like that. So we do feel like it's worth something, and so we do feel like we're entitled to get compensated some for the investment that we made to the complex. So I agree with that state law, but it depends on the state, because some of the states want to see you keep your rents level until the tenant moves out, or a small rent increase called rent control. Um, Joe, I don't manage our properties anymore, but my property managers use something called Appfolio. One of my other property managers uses Yardi. And I've also heard of Buildium and Rent Manager. Those are all good softwares for managing rentals. Um, Dagan McElroy, I'm in construction and I have 50K save, 500K save. Ooh, if I invest in a 16 unit apartment complex or buy a single family. Okay, here's the deal, Dagan. I think that if you want to do hands on, you got a lot of capital. You're probably going to make a lot of friends here on YouTube. They're going to be like, hey, come invest with me. Dagan's got $500,000. But I would, if you're in construction and you got that kind of capital, I think that's huge seed capital. Do it on your own. And so I would jump out and probably get into a reasonable sized building that you could afford. If you're bankable, I guess that's the only question, is if you're bankable, you could probably buy something that's 3 to 4 times the amount of money you have saved there. And that needs a lot of work because you've got a background in construction. So you could use your background in construction to renovate that apartment building and bring it up, raise the game there, raise rents. using your knowledge and probably your resources and your Rolodex of people that could come work with you in bringing that apartment complex around. That's exciting. And that you get that kind of money to put in. You're 24 years old. Geez, God bless you, man. You got a big leg up, Dagan. Good luck to you. What's up, unapologetic? Oh wait, I know you. You've come unapologetic. You commented on my stuff before on my YouTube channel. You're my boy. I think you actually almost learned from more questions. I think you actually almost learn from questions asked, Giggle. Shows people are listening and thinking. It's true. How many seniors are now investing in multifamily homes as passive income? A lot. We get a lot of seniors that don't trust Wall Street anymore. That want to, I mean, again, if you consider my because I talk in my book about how to get folks with retirement accounts to consider investing with you. I think that right now is a ripe time because of how high up the stock market's gone to talk to people about investing in real estate, because I think we all believe that at some point what goes up must come down. In terms to in terms to real estate and in terms to not real estate, but in terms to the stock market, real estate may go down too, but not like the stock market's going to go down. In that. So I think that right now is a good time to talk to seniors and those on fixed income about offering something alternative, something that's like sticks and bricks, that if things do start to take a little dive or whatever, that at least it's a hard asset and it's not going to just go bankrupt or something like that. So I think that right now is a great time to talk to folks, seniors, and talk about investing in real estate. I think they're ready to have that conversation. And a lot of my investors are seniors that invest with me. So if I can do it, you guys can do it. So a few more questions. I can't believe you've been saving that hard, Dagan. God bless you, man. What are the 3 months dues? Just hopped on. Oh, the 3 month the 3 must dues. Real quick, you gotta have. Oh, you know what? Actually, just watch the beginning, Nix. As soon as I conclude this, the recording is gonna go up on YouTube, Facebook, and BiggerPockets.com. So just watch from the beginning. So any of you guys just got on, you can watch from the very beginning of this. Why'd you skip my question in other countries? I didn't see them. I'm sorry. If you guys ask questions that I didn't see it, just the question bar is moving up pretty quick, and I'm trying to catch all of them. So, sure, Danny, oh, and Dimitri, I wasn't trying to hurt your feelings, but I don't know much. I've never invested outside the U.S. And so I don't know anything about investing in other countries. And I didn't skip your question just because of that, but because I didn't see it. Any way to raise private capital for a triplex? Danny, my first private capital deal was on 2 single-family homes. So you can start really, really small if you want. No problem to raise private capital for a triplex. Hit me up on my website on Unapologetic. We can have a conversation. Well, Danny, you know what? Okay, you want a house hack. So I don't think that you're going to need to raise private money, Danny, because I think that you could buy it on an FHA, like 97% mortgage, like 3 to 5% down. You could borrow the money from family if you don't have it in your own pocket to get that 3 to 5% down. But I think that if you're going to go live in a piece of real estate, and there's ways to get that 3 to 5% down, like a low interest credit card loan or something like that. But if you really don't have that kind of cash to lay 3 to 5% down for the purchase of a triplex, save it up. Do a flip, wholesale. Save some money from your job before you got that money piled up, and just have some cash reserves. Because if you're going to live in a property as a house hack, you need to have some scratch set aside to fund your purchase, or to fund your expenses and stuff. Hey, Colette in Colorado. It's my buddy Colette. It is moving fast, Julie. Thank you for backing me up. I'm trying to keep up with you guys, man. I love it. Cool. When did you move to apartments? Oh, my website address. I can't type it in. It's this. It's DeRosaGroup.com. Just DeRosaGroup.com. Just go out to DeRosaGroup.com and you can learn more about my company and what I'm up to. When did I move into apartments? Probably I got into apartment buildings like 7 years ago, I think. I've been in business I've been doing this full time for 13 years. It's still not a bad time to get. Don't listen to people that tell you it's not a good time to get into apartment buildings. Just get really good at evaluating deals, or get somebody in your network that's a part of your team that can evaluate deals with you for you, and just really really hard vet the numbers and make sure that the numbers work. And if the numbers work, it's a good deal. I mean, don't let people tell you that now's not a good time to buy apartment buildings. I think apartment buildings are stable assets, and if you buy right, it'll be a good asset even if the market takes a dip. So. Mm, unapologetic. I'm sorry to hear that, man. That does not make that whoever's handling my inbound, that does not make me happy. I'll have to do something about that. Um, hmm. Okay. Well, shoot me an email, mfaircloth@derosagroup.com, and we'll hook up. Okay. mfaircloth@derosagroup.com. My DeRosa Group, Matt Faircloth, my first initial, faircloth@derosagroup.com is my email. That's how much I love you guys. I'm putting my email out here. I don't know if it'll let me do it. Let's see if sometimes YouTube doesn't let you. Oh, it flagged me. Oh, okay. YouTube won't let me do it. It won't let you do web addresses, and it won't let you do email addresses. So okay, but hit me up, unapologetic, and we'll talk. Thank you for the great info. Are seniors only able to use self-directed IRAs and invest in real estate? Can read conventional IRAs? No, Jason, you got to check out my book to talk more about it. But a self-directed IRA, all it is a traditional IRA that's been rolled over to an IRA custodian to allow it to be invested in real estate. It is the same vehicle, and it's not just seniors. Your 25-year-old cousin can invest in real estate with their retirement account. Anyone can invest in real estate with their retirement account. Read more in my book on that one, on raising private capital. You can get it on BiggerPockets.com or on DeRosaGroup.com on my website to pick it up. Um, uh, Someone said where to buy that we use all cash for apartments. Is that wise? No way, Julie. Do not use all cash for apartment buildings, because apartment buildings, money's still fairly cheap given the long term the long term market, and how expensive money's been, and how much interest rates have been on money and stuff like that. So I would absolutely lay some money down and borrow the rest for an apartment building. And banks are really hungry for apartment building deals, so the terms are so great right now. I would definitely borrow money. Um, uh, Yurav, do you recommend finding all team members attorney underwriter for smaller deals? Yeah, you need those team members for all deals that you do, because you can't do everything. And so you should have those team members local, and for big stuff too, for everything you do. Um, Perfect purchasing now. Cool. Thanks, Jason. I appreciate you, man. Make sure you buy on BiggerPockets, because there's a ton of bonus material for picking up the book on BiggerPockets. What are your thoughts about purchasing foreclosed apartments? It's great, Youssef, if you can find them. I mean, I think that you're going to run into a lot of competition, just because the those two words sound really enticing. Oh, it's a foreclosed apartment building. I think that that's going to draw a lot of stupid money that's going to come and bid it up. So I think that there's still good deals out there. I mean, you could surf LoopNet, talk to brokers. Good deals are all in the market in apartments and stuff like that. So I think that you can still look there. But if with regards to finding apartment buildings in foreclosure, it's going to be hard to do, I think, because there's a lot of folks that are bidding and pricing out in the space and stuff like that. Cool. Good morning, Cami from Japan. I love international and international folks watching. It just shows me how many people are really interested in bigger pockets and want to talk about real estate, and that are watching this stuff. Cool. Um, Chippo, I don't know enough about Detroit. I'll tell you this. I'm curious about Detroit. I don't have much interest at this point in getting involved in Detroit myself, but I'm very closely watching what happens in Detroit, and what happens with electric cars, and with the auto industry changing and going more electric and more fuel efficient and stuff like that, and just what happens with Detroit in the next, say, 5 years. I'm curious to see. So I'm not interested yet, but I'm curious. Um, how many team members do you need realistically, Julie? I mean, again, I said in the thing. I mean, I probably had, when I say team members, I don't mean people that are employees of your company. I just mean people that you got that are tight, that are in your Rolodex, that are your people that you can pick up the phone and call as soon as you need them, when you need them for an opportunity or something like that, or when you want to run something by them, that are aligned with your goals, that you can hire, that you've already maybe had a few meetings with, you can hire immediately when you have a building lined up. So, um, Cool. Well, last question to your end. What sort of contingency should be part of an apartment complex offer? I think just a really good due diligence clause that gives you enough time to really figure the building out, so 30 to 45 days. And then I got burned on this one. You should definitely need to have a finance contingency because if you can't get the money together, or if you can't close with the money that you need from a bank or something like that, you need to be able to back out or just be able to buy yourself some more time. So a good finance contingency is important as well. So cool. Listen, guys, I got to run. Go to DeRosaGroup.com if you want to hear more about my company. And to my man, Unapologetic, go to my website and fill out there's a form about, you can read under investing with me and stuff like that. Read up on that. If you're interested, we can talk. But you can also read all about what my company's up to. And go to BiggerPockets.com and read all about apartment buildings and about raising money and my book Raising Private Capital and all the other stuff that BiggerPockets has to just as a great resource to learn. So go to DeRosa Group and to BiggerPockets.com to learn a ton more about these conversations, and watch out for me to do another YouTube live, another live stream, YouTube, Facebook live. Facebook absolutely crushed you guys on YouTube. We're now sitting at 60 likes. Amazing. With well over 100 people watching right now. Cool. Cool. Thanks, guys. Here is my high five. When I teach my webinars for BiggerPockets, which I'm going to be doing a lot more of, so watch out for those too, I give out high fives. My high fives is a little bit of love. So you guys all have to do this with me. For those of you guys who are watching on your watching at home or watching on your computers or on your phones or whatever, I'm going to high five my camera, and you guys need to high five back. So my people in Japan, my people in wherever you are, we're all going to do like a quick high five together all at once. And you can imagine like all a couple hundred of us all like doing a big jump up high five at the same time. Okay, so it looks like this: 1, 2. Yeah, I'm going to smack the screen. 1, 2, 3. Bah! Cool. So all right, guys, that's my high five. I really appreciate you guys. Mwah. Love you. Please keep watching. Check out BiggerPockets.com and be sure to check out my book. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.